This week on TGC News, a complex suppressor, romantic hunting getaways in Texas, and the AK-50 returns. The Advanced Special Operations bag from RE Factor Tactical is the definition of versatile. Featuring a quick access fight pocket, an RFID blocking pocket, a wide opening main compartment, 7 mesh pockets on the inside, tons of MOLLE and Velcro for attaching gear, removable backpack straps, concealable duffel straps, 1000D Kadura exterior, and a waterproof bottom, all wrapped into the size of most carry-on luggage. Get 10% off your entire order at refactortactical.com using the code TGC10. Welcome back to TGC News, the only gun news show that covers things you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. Shout out to all the people that subscribed on the channel recently. You guys freaking rock. Also, if you recently bought a Daniel Defense rifle, there is a safety recall for double fires due to faulty trigger disconnectors. There is a website linked down in the description so you can find out if your gun is affected. Now, this week's first story is about a company that I would bet most of you have never heard of called NG2 Defense. I stumbled across this suppressor company while watching a video on the Waterjet channel on YouTube where they cut one of their cans in half. NG2 appears to be one of those companies that is run by engineers because holy crap, do they make some really, really interesting and complex products. Let's take a quick look at their product lineup here. We've got the Worm Gas Block, which appears to be a multi-piece design that has a bunch of twists and kind of chambers in the top of the gas block and an adjustment screw that will allow you to fine-tune the gas for your AR-15. Not too crazy, but still not a standard design for that type of product. Then they have the Muzzle Max, which is claiming to be kind of an all-in-one type muzzle device. It's a blast diverter, flash hider, muzzle brake, and of course, it keeps the muzzle ultra-neutral, all of which they are claiming it does. The design looks pretty damn complex for a muzzle device, and I think you can see where this is starting to go. Say hello to their can, the MaxFlow 3D. Even though the name sounds kind of like a piece of computer software, the can seems pretty cool. It bears a ton of similarities to the OSS suppressors with like an internal stack and then stuff swirling around and then like an end stack of all these different baffles and pieces. I don't know, it's very, very strange. They also claim that it has almost no back pressure and gas to the shooter's face. That's a really good thing. Although their website and videos don't do a great job of explaining, the concept is fairly simple. Move and cool the gas by swirling it around through multiple chambers and eventually out the front of the can. The video playing over my shoulder is linked in the description if you want to get a closer look at what's really going on inside there. I think this kind of technology and line of thinking is really just awesome. However, let's take a trip down MSRP lane. That sweet muzzle device we just talked about? Yep, $190, a $200 muzzle brake. So what do you think the can goes for? You know what, I'll give you 5 seconds to answer down in the comments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you said $1,500, you are correct. You know, I talked about cheap suppressors a couple weeks ago on the show, and I think this represents an entirely different segment of the market. Actual innovation. If this type of stuff can be made more readily available and therefore cheaper, we will see some really amazing suppressors come about. Until then, it's a can that may struggle to get off the ground. And in hog eradication news, Texas may be the first state that I'm aware of to allow hog hunting from a hot air balloon. This is awesome. The only thing stopping House Bill 3535 is the governor's signature at this point. Long story short, hogs are a huge problem in the South, and Texas suffers a reported $52 million loss annually from these invaders. And with an estimated 2 million hogs and growing, according to Texas A&M, that number is not going to shrink anytime soon. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one, for those of you that may know better, but I believe hogs have litters every 6 months or so, and it only takes 6 months for a pig to mature to breeding age, so that means every 6 months you are getting explosive exponential growth in the hog population. It has become one of the largest sectors in the hunting world in the US, and there are no signs of that slowing down. I'm sure you've all seen dudes hunting out of like trucks and ATVs and maybe even from helicopters. Now imagine yourself having a lovely wine and cheese and then spotting a pack of fresh bacon waiting to be harvested. All you have to do is put down your little finger sandwiches and start hammering down on pigs. Oh, this is a lovely view up here. Oh, what's that? I think that's a pig. Let me get my AR-15! Yes! Oh boy. Here's another thing to consider. Hot air balloons are ultra quiet in comparison to other vehicles, so they might not even hear you coming, and if you have a suppressed gun, oh boy, pork for days. Now, I have to ask you guys a very important question here. If you were hunting from a hot air balloon, what would you pick as your weapon of choice? I need to hear this down in the comments because who doesn't want a minigun mounted on a balloon basket, right? And you guessed it, it's time for more rapid-fire gun news. Stories that are quick and dirty. Here we go. First up, Ruger is expanding their line of American rimfire with the addition of some stainless guns. They'll come chambered in either 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum, or 17 HMR with an MSRP of $429, and they come ready to be suppressed. Sounds like a sweet squirrel hunting rig to me. What do you guys think? Next up, the AK-50, as some of you may have seen on our coverage of SHOT Show 2016. It's actually one of the top 10 videos here on the TGC channel. It's been quite a journey for Brandon and his cohorts to get that gun kind of up and running and kind of custom make everything because it's not a normal AK, right? Well, the first test firing happened just the other day and it was a success. Now, the gun is far from finished. However, the fact that the bolt held up and so did all the other parts that were attached to it, that means that we are going to see them keep moving forward. I cannot wait to see when this thing actually starts cycling rounds. Such a cool gun. We also recently talked about gimbals for guns and how something like that would help with like a machine gun or even an AR-15. Well, here's a concept that takes that a bit further. This is an entire chassis meant to kind of like balance and control the gun. It's completely a concept at this point, but essentially the idea is that the rifle is computer controlled and stays on target far more consistently than if it were handheld by a soldier. It's kind of ridiculous to look at, but in the year like 2030, who knows? Maybe this is actually going to be a reality. We're in a really weird period in warfare, if you ask me. I mean, we have some of the most insane capabilities with drones and thermal vision and missiles and all that kind of stuff, but when it comes to small arms, we're still trying to control an explosion in a brass case and make lead fly down range. It's the same thing. Hopefully, as time goes by, we'll start to see some really incredible stuff, and maybe once we get away from using traditional ammo, we'll start to see bigger leaps and bounds. But until then, we'll keep seeing cool concepts just like that one.
The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Now, for our good guy with a gun story for the week, you guys have been sending a ton of these over, and that's freaking awesome. I really appreciate that. This one is kind of funny. Transport yourself to Miami County, Ohio, just north of Dayton. At about 5 a.m. on May 29th, a family heard a bunch of commotion in their home. The mother kind of stayed with the kids, and the dad goes to investigate. He finds a man trying to break into their house through the doggy door, and being that we all believe in play stupid games, win stupid prizes, he shot the guy 3 times in the hands and leg. According to police, there had been a bunch of recent break-ins in the area, and this guy they believe could be their suspect. The thing that stands out to me the most here is just one simple thing. Don't try to go into someone's house where you don't belong through the doggy door.
Hello.
Such a moron. Do you guys think the homeowner did the right thing here, like shooting the guy a couple times, or did he not go far enough, or maybe he went too far? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on that. I really like having this conversation about what's right and wrong when it comes to defending yourself. Sabu Leather offers some of the finest handmade holsters crafted right here in the USA. Whether you carry inside or outside the waistband, whether you want an extra mag, or maybe some extra flair, they have what you need. To get free shipping on your order, use the code TGC1 at SabuLeather.com. And now it's time for another Guntuber of the week, and this one is coming to you from the great state of Texas. It's a channel that helped me personally. I was looking for parts and kind of mods for the Ruger Precision Rifle, and this guy had a few short yet informative videos covering exactly that. He also went above and beyond to help me when I asked him a couple questions, which is awesome. So for being a good dude and helping a brother out with a gun that's still relatively new to a lot of people, let's check out Long Range Shooters of San Antonio.
For our testing, we started with 41 grains of H-4350 and worked our way up in 0.2 grain increments all the way up to 45 grains. After running the ladder test, I decided to go with one of the charges on the higher end of the scale.
Hope you guys enjoyed our semi-scientific look at the new 6.5 Creedmoor brass by Lapua.
I know Matt is putting in some work with the channel and definitely could use a few more subscribers, so if you're in the long range game, you like that sort of stuff, head over there via the link down in the description and let him know TGC sent you. Now, if you have a channel that you think needs to be featured on the Guntuber of the week, you can either post that in the comments or send me a link via the friendly fire page on theguncollective.com. And unfortunately, that is it for this week's show, guys. You know what to do. Hit that like button, share it with your friends, get subscribed, go buy a t-shirt from Patriot Patch or the TGC Gear Store. And of course, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. The shirts worn in today's episode of TGC News were provided by Patriot Patch Company. Click the link in the description to learn more.